From the truth, I could buy it, but it's just a rental. It's not a good investment. Being bad with your money is being good at flexing. They always chasing a bag, I guess they couldn't catch it. They trying to be like me, but it's not a good impression.
So recently, I started a new position in Southwest Airlines. I had some time to look into a couple different stocks. I made a watch list with a couple different stocks on it, and Southwest was one of the first ones I did more in-depth research on. And the more I did research on them, the more I liked them. And it's kind of crazy that I'm just now buying into this stock. If I would have done the research before, I probably would have bought it earlier, considering the fact I've been flying with them for like 15 years. I've had their credit card for like 12. It's the airline I prefer. I haven't flown on a different airline in probably like 10 years. But I'm just going to give you a quick breakdown on the reasons I bought Southwest. I'm not going to go into all the research that I did. Not only do only like 4 people watch these videos, which I don't mind. If I can help one person make money, it's worth it. But I'm just not going to waste all that time making a long video that nobody's going to watch anyway. I don't want to waste my time. Don't want to waste somebody else's time. It's already like 2 in the morning and I want to go to bed too. But anyway, let's get into the reasons I bought Southwest and started my position. Right now it's sitting at $30. You have to go all the way back, if you look right here, to 2014 to get it under $30, besides, of course, COVID. Everything went down. Nobody was traveling. Nobody was nothing. It plummeted, like every other stock in the stock market. But you're telling me that in 2025, I'm getting it for the same price I could have got it 11 years ago? So I'm going back in time 11 years. I'm getting all the growth the company's had, all the changes, all the expansion. Like, it's like going back in time 11 years and buying this stock for the same price. The new business models, like, all of that was worth nothing. It's sitting at the same price it was in 2014. So that one thing was just crazy to me. And then I went back and I looked to see how long they had been profitable. And Southwest had an impressive record of 47 consecutive years of profitability from 1973 through 2019. This was an unmatched record in the airline. So they had the longest run of profitability year over year. Um, the streak, of course, was broken in 2020 due to COVID. Nobody was traveling. The stock plummeted. I really wish I would have bought some back then, but I didn't. I was focused on other ones, and that one never came into my radar, which is a good reason why you should always like look for new ones. You know, don't get stuck where you were. I haven't looked for new stocks in probably a year and a half. And that's, I usually like to do it every 3 to 4 months. I try to do it like quarterly or so, check for new ones, keep an eye on some. Very rarely do I kick any out of my watch lists, but sometimes I will. But I usually like to add stocks to watch and, you know, set price points where, hey, if this gets to this, then we need to start buying it. But it's been a while since I've done that. So we were looking through everything and Southwest popped up. And if I would have seen it in 2020, probably would have bought it. But I mean, looking back at this record, like I said, it was unmatched by any other airline. They had the longest profitability year after year, 47 consecutive years showing a profit. That's just ridiculous. And then, you know, of course, like I said, I fly with them. So I'm aware of all of these changes that they're making. And that's also one of the reasons I feel the price is down, because the news and the publicity it's getting are negative. And everybody's like, oh, no, they're going to lose all their customers. Nobody's going to like these changes, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I will say I haven't flown since they started any of these changes. The first change they did was, I believe, the check bags, and that just started. So the assigned seating starts in 2026, the leg room, all the other stuff was down the line. So if we look at the key changes the company's about to make, assigned seating, like I said, it starts in 2026. You'll pay more money for certain seats on the airplane, window seats, aisle seats, extra leg room, things like that. They're redoing their fare structure. That I have noticed. I haven't flown since they started any of these, but I have got tickets and booked tickets since this fare structure was in place. Being like that, I have certain credit cards and this and that. I do get different bonuses and perks and offers that other people don't get. So the basic fare is replacing the want to get away fare. It has less things. You can only get your points back. You can't get money back. I don't believe there's like a 60-day expiration of the flight credits or 6 months. I didn't really read into it, but it changed the way you can get a lot of the things. The baggage policy is one of the big ones, starting May 28th, 2025. So, like I said, that was a couple months ago. They will start charging for bags. And then the flight credit expiration, flight credits issued after May 28th, 25 will have eligible dates, will have expiration dates, unlike credits issued before that date. So back before the May 28th, 2025, if you bought a plane ticket and you canceled it, you would get a flight credit and you could use that flight credit anytime. It never expired. Now they're putting expiration dates on those flight credits. I don't know how that's going to play out. If I was a normal flyer, I might not like that because I might not fly as often, but I'm sure it's going to be, I think I want to say it's 6 months. And if I book a flight and I cancel it, I'm probably flying within that 6 months anyway. I haven't tried this yet, but my whole thing is if it expires say it expires in 60 days. So what if I just book another ticket with those points or my flight credit and then I cancel that? Then I get another 60 days. And then I book another one and cancel that. Do I get another 60 days? So I don't know if there's loopholes that people can, exploit that are technically still legal, but it's one thing I thought about when I saw that. And then the potential for international expansion. They're trying to go to the UK. They want to get other routes with other airlines so you could fly, to a major airport like Denver, Chicago, New York, things like that, and catch flights to Europe, and that would expand where they can fly. Currently, they do have some international flights. They're mostly towards the Caribbean, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and things like that. So, if we look into the initial projections, Southwest anticipated that they would get a little more than $350 million a year changing with the bag fees. They're exceeding their expectations. Um, they're reporting higher than they had anticipated since May. So far, right now, if the baggage policy was in place for a full year and the numbers were the same, they would have around $1 billion generated in baggage fees. The impacts of these profits, they have lowered their flights a little bit, which if you listen to analysis, they say it's going to even out. The baggage fees going to go up, and the flights are going to go down. And I 100% agree with that. I have noticed that they lowered the flights recently. They've had a lot more sales recently, but I believe they're going to get people on board. People are going to do this. They're going to keep the flights cheap for a little bit. I would say within 2 to 5 years, they're going to see all these profits start to accumulate on the balance sheet. Customer reaction, like I said, there's a lot of negative press, there's a lot of negative people, and it's driving the price down, in my opinion. The shifting strategy. Now, if you look at this right here, this is what I like. So if you read the shifting strategies, the decision to charge for checked bags is a part of a broader strategy to improve Southwest's financial performance and align with other major airlines that have long relied on baggage fees. So let's go back to where Southwest reported the longest consecutive year after year profits, 47 years in a row, than any other airline, never charged for bags. They're saying right here that other major airlines, that is, have been one of the relied incomes. And even with that income, nobody was even close to matching the 47 years of profit year over year that Southwest has already posted. So these things started to accumulate in my research where I thought, I think it's a great company. I think they're going to see these profits in the long run. I think everything's going to be in place for them in the next 2 to 5 years to just accelerate growth. If they get international flights, that's going to get more customers. Some people probably don't fly with them. Well, obviously they don't fly with them because they can't get international flights. So the more flights they offer, the more customers they're going to appeal to. I feel like it's going to go one of two ways. Either it's going to work out the way they think, the baggage fees are going to work out, they're going to make profits over those, the ticket prices will slowly increase to where they used to be, if not more than they are currently, and the profits will show up on the balance sheet. Once everything gets in place and they're rolling, it'll work out the way they're planning for it to work out. Or two, it doesn't work out. Customers don't like the new changes. They don't like paying for seat upgrades. They don't like paying for bag fees. You see a dramatic decline in customers. And I think if Southwest sees that, then they'll go back to the no bag fees, little higher ticket prices, and put it back to the way that it used to be. And when it used to be that way, they still showed 47 years of consecutive year after year profits until COVID. So we're going to go back to a business model that worked longer than any other airline's business model, or we're going to have a better business model and we're going to make even more money than we did. But either way, we're paying what we were going to pay for this stock in 2014, 11 years ago. Putting all that together, as I'm reading it, these are the reasons that I bought the stock. So a brief recap of the reasons I bought the stock were: the company's been making money for the last 50 years. They're expanding to different countries. They're adding more flights and more flight routes. You're getting the price for what you would have bought it 11 years ago. So for the last 11 years, all that free expansion and growth. And those are some of the reasons that I decided to buy the stock. Looking at everything that I've seen, I think the stock should be somewhere between $42 and $50. And if we're a little under 30 and we get to 42, that's going to be a $12 gain, which is going to be a 40% gain from where we're at now. And that's on the low end, in my opinion. If we can get 40% plus, it's something I'm interested in. So I had to start a new position. And that's the basic breakdown of why I've started this new position in Southwest. Could get into a lot more of the research details, conference calls, crap like that, but nobody wants to hear it. So on that note, I'm out. Y'all have a great day. I'm going to bed.
From the truth, I could buy it, but it's just a rental. It's not a good investment. Being bad with your money is being good at flexing. They always chasing a bag, I guess they couldn't catch it. They trying to be like me, but it's not a good impression.